I've read a lot of self-help books. Yours are the best, obviously.
Of course, of course. Available in all good bookstores. And even in crappy ones too.
He'll sell his wares anywhere. But they are wonderful books. What interests me is you often talk about the difference between self-esteem, which is spoken about a lot in the self-help industry, and self-acceptance. And you say that there's a difference between the two, and self-acceptance is probably the state that we want to cultivate more.
Yeah, in the ACT model, we're very interested in developing self-acceptance and a step further, self-compassion, which is like self-acceptance plus being very kind to yourself. We're not about self-esteem in the ACT model. Low self-esteem is problematic, but so is high self-esteem. And many people don't realize this. High self-esteem correlates with egotism, narcissism, increased prejudice and discrimination. And it certainly doesn't lead to better leaders or better relationships. There's lots of research on this now. So we're wanting to move away from the concept of self-esteem, because whether it's high or whether it's low is equally problematic. So this is a nice little exercise. Again, it's just another riff on the ACT in a nutshell metaphor, but it's a kind of way of helping people let go of this whole self-esteem notion and move in the direction of self-acceptance.
Okay, what do we need to do?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a sheet of paper. There's so many things you can do with a sheet of paper in ACT. It's very, very useful. I'm going to give you this pen, and on one side I want you to write 2 nasty negative self-judgments, things your mind says when it really wants to beat you up and give you low self-esteem. 2 nasty negative judgments. Typically in a session with clients I would do 3 or 4. But
do I say I'm and fill in?
Yeah, I am stupid, whatever it is. Kind of.
Hey, that's a bit rough.
I was talking about myself. Okay. Make them nasty ones, kind of. So we've got I'm disorganized. I'll never be successful. A couple of others. Let's just do a couple more. I am fat. Yeah, I get that one too. Yeah. About me, I mean, not about you. Yeah. Too much. Okay. Too much for people. Yeah, I relate to all of those. Okay, now, so this is the low self-esteem side. Now I'm going to get you to flip the page over and write some high self-esteem stuff. Kind of, when your mind wants to give you high self-esteem, what are 2 or 3 of the nice things it says about you? I am what? I'm generous. Good in a crisis. Just write a couple more. I'll just mention that occasionally clients will say, you know, my mind never says anything nice about me. Then I will kind of say, all right, well, if I had a magic wand and I could get your mind to say nice things about you, what would you like it to say? And then we'll write those down. So we've got I'm generous, I'm good in a crisis, I help people, I'm, what's that one? Talented. And I'm a great success. Okay, so that's your mind really being very positive. So what I want you to do, again, is imagine that I am the people in your life that really matter. Who matters most in your life?
My husband.
Your husband? You're not just saying that because he's filming?
No, he actually is.
Who else is important?
My cat, but that's probably not relevant for this conversation.
No, it's very relevant, your cat.
Right, definitely my cat. My mum, my nan, who's passed, but she's still a presence in my life, and I would still like her to be proud. A couple of friends.
Okay. So I want you to imagine that I represent your mum, your nan, your husband, your cat, your friends. Actually, I'm all the important relationships that really matter in life. I keep coming back to relationships because they're so important in terms of well-being and vitality. And what I'm going to get you to do is take tight hold of that sheet of paper with the low self-esteem side. And I just want you to get all caught up in your low self-esteem. So hold it right up in front of your face. So all you can see now is those negative self-judgments. You've now got ultra low self-esteem. You're fused with your low self-esteem, right? And I'm your mum and your nan and your cat and your husband and your friends. Do you feel engaged and connected with me? Yeah, do you feel like this is a kind of meaningful, enriching, fulfilling relationship? So you're cut off, you're disconnected, right? Now flip it around to your high self-esteem side. Now get all caught up in your high self-esteem. Get all caught up in those positive thoughts about who you are, how successful and wonderful you are. You know, now you've got really high self-esteem, and I'm your mum and your nan and your husband and your cat and your friends. Do you feel engaged and connected with me?
I don't even need you.
You don't even need me, you know, kind of full-blown narcissism, right? Okay, you're cut off, you're disconnected, okay, and you're still missing out on the richness and fulfillment of these relationships. Now just place it down on your lap and just give me your full attention, okay? Kind of, again, come back to the hair, come back to the designer clothes. I'm your kind of nan, your mum, your cat, your husband. You feel engaged, connected?
I do, and I'm grateful, considering you're my cat, that you're not sitting there licking yourself.
I could do that, but we might get banned from YouTube if I started to.
No, of course I feel more engaged.
So it's more engaged, more connected. And notice when you're giving me your full attention, it actually doesn't really matter which side up this sheet of paper is. Just keeping all your attention on me for the moment. Flip it over a few times so that you lose track of which way up it is. So put it down there. Flip it over a few times, but give me all your attention. All your attention's on me. Flip it over so you're not really sure which side is up. And notice now, when you're giving me your full attention, it actually doesn't really matter, does it? Whether it's, because if your mind's like my mind, it changes like the wind. And one moment it'll be on the positive side, the next moment it'll be on the negative side. So let me ask you this, you know, what, at the end of your life, what's most important? Is it that your loved ones think, you know, Zara was really there for me when I needed her, she loved me, she cared about me, or Zara had a really high opinion of herself?
The first one. I find that really fascinating because, again, so many self-help books tell us to do the positive affirmations and to work on that and say, I'm a beautiful person, I do good things, and it seems like a lot of work to actually maintain that, and sometimes you can feel like a fraud because you're saying it but you're not believing it and you oscillate between the two. You're just saying, essentially, let it all exist because some of it's true, some of it's not. It doesn't really matter here and now, but focus on what's in front of you and what you need to do essentially to get a positive outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of live by your values, do it mindfully. Let your mind say whatever it wants. Sometimes it'll be positive, sometimes it'll be negative, but you're not who you think you are. You know, it's kind of, it's about, you know, by living your values mindfully, you'll develop a deep sense of self-worth that comes from mindful values-based living, as opposed to trying to build a sense of self-worth through positive affirmation in your head. That, when I kind of said to you that about that research on self-esteem, if people are interested, they can just Google 2003 Task Force on Self-Esteem, American Psychological Association, and they will kind of see why I said that stuff, that high self-esteem is actually problematic. It's not a good thing to have, whereas high self-acceptance and high self-compassion is very useful.
Fantastic. Thanks, Russ.
Thank you.